Hello, my name is Emily, and I am an intuitive and a certified theta healer. If you don't know me or my story, I have been on quite the journey this life, especially the last 4 years. I was in a helicopter crash and I survived, obviously, and that crash took the lives of my mother and my stepfather, sadly, and it left me with both physical health problems and a lot of emotional wounds to heal. And so I've been on a massive healing journey for the last 4 years. It also has definitely been a spiritual awakening experience for me, where a lot of my intuitive gifts have come online during this time. And that ultimately led me to what I'm doing now, which is theta healing. And that's a form of energy healing work that targets the subconscious mind. And so when I was tuning into Creator to see what might be the highest and best message for me to deliver to you guys today, it came through with a very clear message that we need to talk about being in our power as light workers, as empaths, and as starseeds. So many of us struggle to be in our power consistently. And this is really one thing that is going to help move us all forward in our lives. And as a collective together, it's going to help us anchor in those beautiful high frequencies that we want to experience more of. And it's going to help us be that conscious creator that we all know we are more of the time. Because when we're not in our power, then we are going to have a harder time doing those things. We're going to have a harder time embodying those higher frequencies and creating the things we want to actually experience in our lives. And I also have been receiving a ton of information and downloads in general this past month, especially about the body, which is the subconscious mind. If you are not aware, everything that's going on in your body, every sensation you feel, every reaction you have to anybody, that is part of your subconscious mind. And it is an incredibly divine tool and guidance system to help you evolve into that conscious creator and to being in your power all the time. And the really important part of your body, all of it's important, but is the nervous system, because the nervous system is the conduit for frequency in our bodies. It circulates the frequency, and it also is almost like this gatekeeper of frequency. It's never going to allow you to embody or take on a frequency that is disharmonious to what is already going on inside your body. And so sometimes that can be, it can look like rejecting higher frequencies because it is seemingly foreign or unsafe to embody those frequencies. And I've also been getting a lot of information if you really struggle with ascension symptoms or health problems of any kind. This is an indicator that your nervous system is not ready for these higher frequencies. And, we can go through this natural purging process that is going on right now for everybody as the frequency rises on the planet, or we can help our bodies through that process. And that looks like healing our nervous system, regulating our nervous system, healing the subconscious mind, because 95% of what we do during a day, the decisions we make, the habits that we choose to engage in, all of that is ran by the subconscious mind. Only about 5% of it is conscious decisions. Now, if you're on this video, you're probably a light worker, you're probably an empath. You've probably been working on raising your consciousness and expanding your consciousness. And so we might be able to be a little more self-aware of what's going on in our body and how to move through discomfort and how to heal ourselves. So you probably already have some level of awareness, some expanded consciousness that maybe a lot of people don't have on the planet right now. However, there's still a lot that's operating below our level of awareness. That's just the way it works. So before we jump in, I just want to thank Brittany from You Are Powerful Movement for inviting me to come speak to you guys today and sharing this message that I really do believe is important to be heard at this time with her community. So thank you to Brittany. And my intention for today's video is that you receive something healing out of it, some sort of awareness that you didn't have, and some tools to help you move forward and be in that power as a conscious creator more often. And so today's video is just going to be 5 different ways that I see it's very common in the spiritual community and in light workers and empaths for them to give away their power. And then for each item, I have created some journal prompts that if you resonate with that, you're like, oh yeah, I definitely do that. And I would like to shift out of that behavior. These journal prompts will help you start that process. So let's dive in. So I have some notes because I definitely want to make sure that I cover everything, and I have all these journal prompts that I created for you guys written down. So you'll see me referring to the notes throughout this little video. And first I wanted to talk about, how do you know if you're not in your power? Because some of you might be like, I think I'm in my power most of the time. But when you start to bring a little bit more awareness to it, you might realize that you're giving away your power more than you thought. So some indicators are if you're very moody, if you have an inconsistent ability to manifest what it is you desire, or maybe little to no ability to manifest what you want in your life and what you want to create in your reality, if you just feel like you're stuck in that area. If you have lots of challenges with your external relationships with friends or family, or with yourself, if you have health problems, if you have a harsh inner critic, if you experience anxiety, chronic worrying, overthinking, if you have a chronic lack of motivation, or maybe you're this person where you're always learning from people, and you're never taking action to embody that wisdom and implement it into your life. Also, if you're often overwhelmed, or you find yourself self-sabotaging a lot, or if you get caught up in drama, either personal or all of the chaos that's going on in the world, if you get caught up in that a lot, these are all indicators that you are not centered in your power. And I just want to let you know that this is totally normal. It is not something to be ashamed about. Like, I'm right there with you on this journey, guys. And I have been working on my subconscious mind for a little, maybe about a year and a half now. It took me a while to realize how important this piece of the healing journey was. And then I got certified last February as a theta healer. And I've really been diving deep, but I'm still working through all kinds of things. I will share with you, I had to do some healing work on my subconscious mind, just preparing for this video and sharing my truth, my wisdom with you guys. You know, sometimes that can be really scary. So I just want to let you know, if you experience any of these things, there's nothing wrong with you. And we have an opportunity to evolve so we can experience less of that. Okay, so let's talk about the first thing that I often see in the light worker and empath communities. And this is, it's issues with being able to discern between your own energy, your own thoughts, your own feelings, and that of others. And a lot of us have unconsciously, of course, adopted belief systems. You know, a lot of us are here to carry out important missions and to serve humanity, and we want to do good in this world. And that is so beautiful. And we have subconsciously associated that with the need to actually take on the pain of others, to take on the energy of others, that we can only be here to transmute energy by taking on the energy from others that they are either unwilling to address themselves. You know, we all have people we probably know in our lives that refuse to do healing work, or are just completely unconscious to the fact that they need to do healing work. And so a lot of us feel the need to come in and kind of be that savior, that fixer, and take on that energy for other people. And so while this on the surface looks like a really benevolent perspective and way of operating the world, if you actually dig a little bit deeper, it is rooted in this energy of a lack of trust of other people's abilities to walk their own spiritual path and journey and deal with their own pain. And usually when you are projecting that out into the world, that you don't trust something externally, another person, a situation, um, there could be some of that that is very true energy and is intuitively true. But a lot of times that is just a mirror for us of something going on inside where we don't trust ourselves. And so, you know, maybe you've heard this before, but by taking on the energy of other people and transmuting it for them, you're just bringing yourself down. You're putting yourself at an energy deficit, and you are robbing other people of the chance to spiritually evolve through their pain. I'm sure you can think of plenty of experiences in your own life that have been painful, but have also served as a catalyst for expansion and evolution and just getting closer to that authentic self and that life that you want to experience. I know that's been the case for me. And so when we take on other people's stuff, you are robbing them from that chance to do that for themselves. And this is really, maybe you've heard of the term codependency. This is definitely a codependent behavior. We think we're doing something good, but it is rooted in an energy of lack, of mistrust. And so if this is you, what I would encourage you to ask yourself, so this would be the journal prompt, is, what emotions come up for you when you think about trusting others with their own journey? And that actually can have a lot of baggage to it. And then also, what comes up for you when you think about fully trusting yourself to be authentically in your power, even when others around you are choosing to do otherwise. Okay, let's move on to the next item, number 2. Oh my gosh, this is so common. And so this is kind of what I was talking about earlier that I had to address within my own self in preparation for this video today. And this has to do with doubting your abilities, doubting your intuition, doubting your inner wisdom, and the validity of the information you receive, the validity of your gifts and your expression. I think this is a really natural phase in spiritual evolution to question these things and to be like, I don't know, is this my ego talking? Or is this somebody else's energy? Or is this information true? Or, there's so many questions that spiritual people can come up with. And I also think to be fully in your power, we've got to move past that doubt, past that mistrust. It's also kind of like a lack of self-trust underneath that when you get to that core energy, what drives that behavior. And so how I see this manifest in the spiritual community is kind of this over-reliance on these like popular channelers, popular psychics, even just over-reliance on crystals or card decks for guidance. And the line is that you can have a spiritual teacher, you can have somebody you look up to, you can have certain tools in your life to help provide you guidance, and you should always be in your power to know that you have the decision to take or leave anything that anybody says, that you don't need anything outside of yourself to validate your own self, to validate your intuition and your gifts. So that's kind of the discernment that I feel like a lot of people need to learn, is how to stay in their power and learn from all these incredible teachers and use all these incredible tools we have available. It's a fine balance. So if this is you, the journal prompts I have written are, can you trust your abilities and intuition without any external validation? Why or why not? Okay, number 3, spending too much time in the non-physical world. Also very common in the spiritual community with light workers, empaths, starseeds. We love to meditate. We love to channel. We love to be intuitive. But actually, what is required, so kind of going back to the nervous system, so the nervous system again is that conduit for frequency, those higher frequencies. And if you want to embody the higher frequencies more often, and you want to have an easier time embodying them and holding them, you're going to have to address that nervous system, and you have to be in your body to do that. You cannot be out here in the ethers and anchoring those frequencies into the planet at the same time. So it requires both the connection up and the connection down to this reality here to be fully rooted in your body. And also, when it comes to processing pain and trauma, so a lot of these frequencies that are coming in at this time are naturally purging a lot of this stuff out for us. And it will be very difficult for you to do that effectively when you're not in your body. So the way the body actually purges, the best way, the most gentle way, the most effective way is when you are in your body and when you are connected and you are feeling those things that you've suppressed. It's just so important to be connected and grounded in this reality. And I often see a lot of spiritual people use this non physical world as an escape, as a way to avoid this reality, to avoid the pain. And, we all have ways of coping with our pain. And sometimes we're just not ready to deal with it. And that is 100% okay. And just know that if you continually try to escape from this reality, through meditation and these spiritual tools, through being just up here in the clouds, it is going to be really hard for you to embody those higher frequencies. Let's see what else I wanted to say. Yeah, especially if you are stuck in these cycles of like struggling or suffering, like that is when if you want to break those cycles, that you have some healing work to do, and you got to be in your body to do that. You got to be in your body to manifest something different and create something different. So that connection is really, really important. Okay, and so if this is you, the journal prompts I have written are: how often do I take time to connect with my body without expectation, without any expectation, right? Just to connect. And how and why do I try to escape this reality? Okay, number 4. Yes. So many of us that identify as light workers, as empaths, have a deep insecurity about connecting with other people. And this comes from just feeling different, feeling like an outsider, feeling like you don't belong. I think I just see this talked about so often in the spiritual communities that that there's so many people that had that experience in their lives, either in their childhood or even still today, where they're, just questioning, do I belong here? I don't fit in. I'm different. I'm unique. And sometimes that leads people to do one of two things. I think there's people that start to wear that as like a badge of honor, and they're proud of their uniqueness. And I think that's a great place to be. Although, if it starts to become part of your identity, that I'm just this different person and I'm always going to be an outcast, well, that is what you're going to continue to manifest. And so if we want better connections on this planet, if we want healthier relationships, if we want acceptance, we're going to have to clear those energetic imprints of the trauma and the pain that caused you to feel that way in the first place. So you can still be proud of your uniqueness and your how you're different and you enjoy different things and you're different than society. You can enjoy that. I think that's a healthy perspective, and clearing the energetic imprint from your field and your subconscious mind of why you do that in the first place, I think is very important if you want to stay in your power, right? and you want to create something different for yourself. You have to clear that out if you want to create something different. And then, or you could be like me on the other side. Sometimes when we feel so different than other people, we can just long and just almost be desperate for connection and acceptance. And so obviously there's things there that can be that need to be healed if we're going to be fully in our power. Oh yeah, let's see, what are the journal prompts that I wrote for that one? Yeah, so how have I incorporated being the outcast into my identity, and how might this hold me back? And also, where have I let hurtful experiences with others shut my light down? Okay, last but not least, distorted beliefs about money and resources. Okay, so money in the spiritual community is very triggering for a lot of reasons. A lot of people think that money's not spiritual. I have no interest in making money. Only bad people or evil people have money, or money was created as a tool to oppress people. And all of those statements uh, might be true. They probably are true. However, it is a tool that is available to us on this planet. And it's my perspective that money is a neutral energy, and you can use it for good or you can use it for bad. And I do believe that eventually, as we evolve sometime in the probably the distant future, maybe the near future, I have no idea, we will have no need for money anymore. And that will be a great day. Until then, I feel very strongly that in order to create the infrastructure of this community on planet Earth that we're trying to build, where we're going to need, schools and healing centers and just everything you need to build a new community, is going to take resources. And I also just strongly believe there's so much trauma around money, around having resources, food, water, shelter, those basic needs. There's so much trauma surrounding those topics. And I really feel strongly that if we're going to move forward and evolve as a society, we need to address the trauma around money and resources. And so even if it's not something that you feel called to like make a bunch of money in your life or set goals, financial goals or whatever, if you're cool just not really addressing that or wanting that in your life, that is 100% okay. And to be fully in your power, you really do need to address this particular aspect, because it is such a source of instability and insecurity in your field that even if you're not concerned with money, you're going to continue to manifest situations that create instability and insecurity, because that's what those when you have trauma or pain associated excuse me, when you have trauma or pain associated with these ideas of money and resources, that is like attacking our foundational needs as human beings. The most basic needs are for these resources. And so addressing those foundations is really important if you want to be in your power. And you can choose, again, you can choose whatever you want for money and for resources in your life. And addressing that foundational level of being secure with yourself is super, super important to embodying that inner security. And that's being in your power. And so it's my personal belief that actually all of these 5 things that we've talked about today are ways that we feel insecure, and they generate frequencies of insecurity. And it's hard to be in your power and insecure at the same time. And so all of these little tips and journaling prompts, they are to just get you to move to a place where you are more secure within yourself. So then we can manifest that externally. And I really believe that security, like inner security, is the foundational piece that is needed to experience those higher frequencies. If you don't have that foundation set, it's going to be really hard for those higher frequencies to be experienced and to take hold, right? So, if this is you and you resonate with the money piece or just resources, you might want to ask yourself, how does having abundant resources make me feel? Is there any part of that that feels scary? And how do I feel about money in general? Okay, so yeah, that's all I had for you guys today. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I just thank you to Brittany for inviting me to come speak to her community. My intention was to just hopefully bring you some sort of message that you needed to hear, some tools to maybe move you in a direction that you want to go in your life and move you closer to being centered in your power more often so you can embody those high frequencies with grace and ease. That's my wish for you and the world. And that's what I'm trying to manifest. And that's what I am manifesting in my own life, of course. And if you feel called to work with me one on one or just learn more about me, you can find me on Instagram. That's where I'm most active at Mission Soul Ignition. I'm also on TikTok. And yeah, those are the best places to connect with me. Instagram, for sure. I'm on there almost every single day. And I am going to be launching a new 10-week transformational program that really walks people through kind of these things that we talked about a little bit, but way more in depth, going into connecting to your body in a secure way, overcoming self-doubt, so many things that we can go into when we talk about moving from insecurity to inner security. So I'll be opening that up at the end of April. If you feel called, again, I'll be posting more information on Instagram. And otherwise, I just hope you all have a beautiful and wonderful day wherever you are in the world.